Don't aim for $1,000,000. Instead, aim for $100,000. Think of it this way. Critical mass is the minimum amount of material needed to maintain a nuclear chain reaction in order to explode. And when talking in terms of net worth, 100K is the critical mass. Once you hit it, boom, your net worth explodes. If you're new here, my name is Mitchell and I work in the accounting world. In today's video, I'm going to talk about why getting to 100K feels hard, what factors cause your net worth to explode once you do get to $100,000, and tips I'm using to reach $100,000 faster. Now, I said that reaching $100,000 feels hard, but in reality, it doesn't just feel that way. It is actually hard. See, there are a few reasons why it is so hard. The first being that when you're at the start of your financial journey, you're likely on a low income. The median salary for people ages 20 to 24 is just $38,000 a year, and the average salary for the entire US, regardless of age, is $60,000. At this income level, most of your money is being spent on needs, and what little is left over has to cover both your wants and your savings. That's why you'll often see that personal finance content emphasizes things like cutting out coffee/eating out and other seemingly over-the-top measures. At this stage, saving the dollars and pennies matters. The second reason why getting to $100,000 is so hard is that at the beginning of your net worth journey, you may be coming out of college, and if so, you're probably straddled with debt. In fact, the average student loan debt per person is a little over $40,000. So, as you can see, the odds are stacked against you. If, like I mentioned previously, you have little money to spare after covering your needs, if that money then has to go to paying off debt, there's little to none to go to increasing net worth. The third reason hitting $100,000 is difficult is that we aren't taught personal finance in school, so most people don't even know where to start. There's no lessons on investing, paying off debt, or managing money. And for most people, if they don't know what to do, they end up doing nothing. That's why, unfortunately, by no fault of your own, you have to make it a personal initiative to go out and learn personal finance through books and videos like these. However, despite it being very difficult to do, getting that first $100,000 is something you just have to buckle up and do if you want to reach financial freedom. But with that, let's talk about the reasons that once you finally hit that $100,000, your net worth starts to explode. The first is that you have more money to play with, or in other words, you are working with the scale of capital. To demonstrate this, let's take three different amounts: $1,000, $10,000, and $100,000, and apply the same annual return rate of 10%. After 1 year, if you had $1,000, you would end up with $1,100, which is a profit of $100. If you start with $10,000, you would end the year with $11,000 or $1,000 of profit. And finally, if you have the treasured $100,000, you would have $110,000 at the end of the year, or $10,000 in profit. As you can see, there's nothing that the $100,000 is invested in that the $1,000 is not, as they earn the same 10% return. However, simply by having more capital to start with, you make more profit. And this is the reason that you've heard the phrase that the rich get richer, and it's true. As your net worth increases, your investments, even if they are in the same stocks, profit more. And this leads into the second reason that your net worth will skyrocket after 100K, which is the magic of compound interest. See, the simplest way to explain compound interest is that it is the interest you earn on both your initial investment as well as the interest that it has already earned. It's somewhat of a hard concept to explain without an example, so let's say you invest $100,000 a month with an annual return rate of 10%, which is the average return of the S&P 500 over the last 20 years. Side note, there's no guarantee that this will be the return you get, so be diligent with your investing and look into investment decisions yourself, as this is just a demonstration of compound interest and how it impacts your net worth. With that being said, using this rate of investment, it will take you roughly 7 years to hit your first $100,000, which seems like quite a long time. However, because of compound interest, you will get the next $100,000 much quicker because you will be getting the 10% return on the $100,000 you already had saved, as well as the interest you earned on that $100,000. This means that it only takes you about 3.5 years to reach $200,000. And this trend keeps going. To reach $300,000, it would take about 2.5 years, and so on and so forth. You're letting your money work for you, but not only that, you have money working for that money, and then money working for that money, and it compounds incredibly fast. So fast that by the time you reach $1 million, it would take only 1 year to get another $100,000 from interest alone, which is pretty incredible. And this is why 100,000 seems to be that magic number, because before that, you simply don't have as much money available to compound and work for you. Another reason that your net worth skyrockets after 100K is that by that time you've gained experience and knowledge. You know good personal finance habits because you had to practice them to make it to 100,000 in the first place. You've probably messed up, but at the same time you've learned from it and made it so going forward, increasing your net worth is easier and easier. Now, if you're looking for ways to reach 100,000, here are some of the tips I'm using to reach it faster. The first one is to start early. Due to compound interest, one of the biggest financial advantages we have is time. To demonstrate this, let's say you started investing $1,000 a month with a 10% return at 35 years old. By the time you reach 65, you will have $1.9 million, which is great. But if you started 10 years earlier at 25, you'll have an insane $5.3 million. That's close to 3 times as much money simply by starting 10 years earlier. Now, depending on how old you are watching this, maybe you don't have the advantage that somebody who is 20 or 25 years old has. But today is still the best opportunity you have to let your money grow. Starting today will yield you greater returns than if you started in 1 year, or 5 years, or 10 years. Wherever you are at, you should be starting to invest. It doesn't have to be much either. It could be $100 a month. The key here is just getting your portfolio off the ground. This leads directly into the next tip, which is to stay consistent with your investments. See, for most people, the biggest driver of net worth will be the stock market. And the way the stock market tends to work is that it goes up and down and up and down. However, if you look at a historical graph of the stock market, the trend is that it goes up and to the right, meaning that the wins tend to be bigger than the losses over a long period of time. What this means for you is that when the next big market crash happens, don't get scared. If you're young and early on in your investment journey, the likelihood that you recover and even beyond that make incredible gains is high. Additionally, another part of the tip here is to not try to time the market. And by time the market, I mean to try to sell all your investments at their exact peak and buy at their exact trough. Trying to do this is major guesswork, and a large majority of the time people who do this fail and actually find themselves worse off than those who just continually kept investing without regards to spikes and drops. The third tip is to increase your investment amount over time. When it comes to the returns on your investment, you don't really have control. However, you do have control over how much you contribute to your portfolio. For a vast majority of people, you will increase your income as you get older and naturally earn more experience, get promoted, and find higher paying jobs. And with these pay bumps, you will have a better ability to increase your investment amount. In an ideal financial world, when your income goes up, you can keep your expenses relatively the same and use the excess money to increase your investments for the future. When you do get that pay increase, you most certainly don't want to be matching the increase to your income with an equivalent increase to your expenses, which is a bad financial habit known as lifestyle creep or lifestyle inflation. Overall, the message here is to both increase the amount you invest over time, as well as invest over the long run. If you enjoyed this video, you may also like to watch this video about why it is important to look poor. Thank you very much for watching.